Come and knock on our door. Come and knock on our door. We've been waiting for you. We've been waiting for you. Where the kisses are hers and his. Things company too.
Such a great song, Taylor.
You trying to do like a WandaVision gimmick or something?
I do want us one day to film like a Three's Company, like old cheesy stuff. Oh, last part. Now let's see if they care enough to flag us for that music, or I'll have to edit it out. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the the 412th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. I'm the DC Alliance Clay Destroyer, Travis Snell. Look at that belt in the pink. Look at that. That's badass.
There you go. Blends in with the
Taylor doesn't
purple.
think so. What?
I am the Finn's been replaced. Taylor Field.
Oh, you and your Finn thing. He'll be on the newscast one day.
I've remade this thumbnail, I think 4 times. This one newscast has just been put off consecutively. It's crazy.
It has. We've had lots of topics, lots of stuff, but we're finally here now. So, Taylor, where can they find us when we're putting off all the newscasts in the future?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us with your internet connection in the search bar. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerse is our Twitter, and GeekVerse is our Facebook. And be sure to check us out on our Facebook, because there's something I'm going to do soon that'll pop up on our Facebook, and it's going to be good.
First of all, you've said that a few times, and that hasn't happened. And second of all,
I got married, so I have a valid reason. Honeymoon.
That's true. And second of all, you're getting too fast that, because I can never promote the live show. But that's also my bad. I should have had the links ready, and I did not. But they're good to go now. So we're live, having some fun. And that's why, like Taylor just spouted out, the social media follow us, Twitter, Facebook, because that's when you'll find out when we're going live, what we're doing, especially the next few months, because our schedule, we're going to be popping off a lot of stuff. Like this week, you're getting 5 casts from us: Sung-Chi, Candyman, newscast, What If, actually, and Sung-Chi review. So that's 6 podcasts. And if you want to count the Marvel Retrospective, that's a classic episode 7. So you go on every day of the week. We've been putting out so much content that Apple Podcasts has switched us from weekly to daily. Did you see that in the description?
I didn't see that.
That's a lot of pressure. And I was like, oh shit.
Well, this is the first time we've done, I think, a podcast a day. I mean, this is it, right?
No, we've done it a few times before. We've definitely
like every single day, not including like E3, because that's like a 4-day thing.
Maybe not then. I think we've had it 1 or 2 times, but again, it's tough because like technically, like the retrospective, like that's an old recorded cast, right? So it's like, can that count? I don't know, but I count it still. It's content. But yeah, so lots of stuff popping off this week. Just follow us at any of those links or down below. If you like what we do, please go over and support us on Patreon. You get ad-free exclusive early episodes. I'm going to tonight upload Dexter season 2 retrospective, and I'm about to record season 3. So for the public, those are going to go live, I think, September 10th, the ad version. But right now, you can get 2 up there. I'll be recording for 3 soon. I am in the middle of watching season 5 right now, and boy, is it brutal. It's just, oh man, it's just such a fall from grace. But we'll get there. It's just like, now it's homework. That the 1 to 4 just breeze through. Now we're in that era where it's like, okay, I'm chugging along. But I'm very excited. We're going to talk about Dexter a little bit later. Yeah, head down description, YouTube, podcast, subscribe, like, review, all that good jazz. So everything's down below. Like I said, the newscast later on this week, I know it's gonna be at least myself and Dylan. Midnight Suns has put out some content, so I can't wait. So lots of good stuff. And yeah, Sung-Chi, obviously that's gonna be a massive one. And yeah, I forgot Kirklin's not here, so I have to talk to him about something. So Clay asked us, Patreon Clay asked a question, and I can't answer that yet, but I will get it to you. Taylor, anything you want to say before we get into some news?
You know what? Actually, I will. I'll do a classic shout out for it. Cryptic Clues. Me and Ruben, we're still going strong with that. Be sure to check it out. CrypticClues.ca or just Cryptic Clues on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and yeah, our next episode.
What's the next one?
We're gonna be diving into Skinwalker Ranch. It is absolutely, like, it's a terrifying place. There's a lot of creepy shit that happens up there. It's terrifying, so it should be good. It's our first location.
Oh yeah, I got them all downloaded. I listened to the first two. I no longer get to listen to podcasts at work now, so my backlog is
Oh,
just it's terrible. It's just and I won't be able to with this new position. I sit right by the manager, so it is Dunsky. I get like the bike ride there, the bike ride back, and that's about it.
just give
So
him one of the headphones so you both share a headphone. He can listen to him while you're listening to him.
I think the problem is you're not supposed to listen to anything. My
That's why
other
you
job.
get him on your side, then you're good.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I got a whole story about getting people on my side at work, but that's a different tale, and I don't want to be fired. So yeah, I'm trying. Oh, check out our podcast network, Geek Alliance, 6 shows a week. All right, 6 days a week, 8 shows. Just head over there. Same thing on our website. We have everything as far as what we do. We have separate feeds as well, so lots of good stuff. So as always, thanks for supporting us. It's I don't know. I hate like I'm at the point like I'm at the point where I hate saying this, but then also I sound arrogant saying this, but we're just very grateful because Geek Ultimate Alliance, 4 months in a row, they've had their biggest month, and then us going on 6 months in a row because when you listen, this will be last day of the month. We've had our biggest month, so I'm not predicting that for September because I feel like we've gone like Venom delayed, we have a few things delayed, and plus I'll be on a little break, so I bring in the ratings, right, Taylor? That's what I do here, but.
Of course.
Either way, no, you guys helped bring in the ratings before. Either way, the fact that we've had like it's crazy where we went from Endgame to eventually Wonder Woman in December. It did break that. That was really big for us. But I think that was Wonder Woman and Mandalorian finale together. So it was like, a year and a half till it broke. And then after that, I can't remember when is 6 months from now. Or previous. It's August. July, June, May, April, March. Yeah, March, because that's when we got Falcon and the Snyder Cut. Ever since then, since March, you guys have made our month the biggest month since the last one, which is crazy because, like I said, we went a whole year and a half after Endgame from, well, that's the biggest month, and it's going to be a long time until that gets broken. And then December hit, and then March hit, and it's been literally, Taylor, we've had a half a year of breaking a record. So even if like we don't break it for a while, I'm pretty happy with that because people are just supporting us big time. So that's pretty crazy, to be honest.
It's amazing that people keep coming back, and again, I keep looking at Pod Bay, and the reviews are just much better than they used to be.
We did get a 1-star titled "The Worst," and they went 5 minutes of ads. Oh, and that's all they put. So, and hey, at the end of the day, we've always said this. I have no problem saying we have ads because that helps us going. As we just said some gear break. That's what the money's going to go towards, stuff like that. And as I said on Patreon, you read the about section, everything you put in this podcast, especially starting next year, you're going to be paying for more shows. So you want new newscasts, you want more reviews, go over there and give us the amount of time to, because we just joked, Apple Podcast has deemed us a daily podcast now, and we put in lots of work because we can actually kind of make time to pay ourselves and whatnot. So again, thank you for the support for the podcast network, and us just means a lot. And hey, September's going to be big. We got Sung-Chi going up. We got some streaming shows, so it's going to be a good time. But it could be a good time is this multiverse of madness business. So I know you're excited, and I guess this kind of counts because I guess he was Ghost Rider was with Marvel Fox, right? That was a Fox movie. Was Ghost Rider Fox? I know Daredevil was Fantastic Four.
I don't think it was Fox.
Let me search that up. So, anyways, I'll set up the story that last week there was some tweet that came out and it was like, oh, this fight between Thanos and Doctor Strange is so underrated. Do I agree with that? No, because I think everyone talks about that Thanos and Doctor Strange fight. Do you have the answer there?
Not yet.
Okay. So Daniel RPK, who is a scooper, he quote tweeted it and said, oh, you haven't seen nothing yet. Wait until you see Wanda versus a Fox character. The internet went ablaze. He's a high C plus tier. He's almost a B tier in my opinion, but he's high C plus right now. He's been getting lots of stuff right, trailer dates, stuff like that. So he put this out here. Of course, internet goes ablaze saying, who could it be? What could it be? And then we kind of learned through other scoopers because that's what happens. It was like when one scooper kind of lets something go, then they all go because they kind of like don't want to be beat. So there's all these people being thrown out and all these things as far as, oh, it's going to introduce us to many Fox Marvel characters and stuff like that. And then you're smiling, Taylor. Do you got that answer? Go ahead.
Sony.
It was Sony. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I remember seeing that Sony. Man, we could have had him in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and all that stuff. We could have those crossovers. But so then lots of people were breaking scoops and stuff like that, saying could be this person, could be that person. And then there was a combo of a 1-2. And we're going to get to the Wolverine the ladder. But Wolverine was supposed to be the person that was going to fight with Wanda. We're going to get back to him because I got a lot to say on that story. But now the rumor is that it's Professor X. We do not know if it is our Stewart. We don't know if it's McAvoy, or we don't know if it's a new actor in general. but with the combination of the quote has been Spider-Man's going to introduce Sony Marvel characters, Wanda and Doctor Strange is going to introduce Fox Marvel characters. This could all be a lie, but we've seen some things of like Captain Carter is supposed to be in it, maybe Ghost Rider is supposed to be in it, now Professor X, and there was that thing I showed to you was that like list going around where all the names were blacked out and everything like that. So clearly, if that's true, it's some sort of list. So one, like I said, I got a few things to throw at you, but what do you think about just the concept of them introducing Marvel Fox characters? Because we thought we were potentially getting that with WandaVision. We never thought that because night one we thought was Mephisto or something wrong, but still it's like maybe it could happen. But if this does happen for real this time, what are your thoughts on just that? Leave Xavier out of it at first.
I mean, do it. I mean, honestly, like I've said it on so many other occasions and so many other casts. This is now the time that Marvel has accumulated and built up such a vast variety of universal stuff, and just start dabbling into these things and just bringing them in. I think it's great. Yeah. I just think this is the best time to do it and just to go for it. And I mean, we're in the multiverse. This is the best time to just start bringing in original actors portraying these characters again, or new variants of them played by different actors or whatnot, like totally up to whatever they decide. But I think this is the best moment to do it. Now, as far as it goes, like what Fox characters are coming out over, like what mutants, all that kind of stuff. I know everyone was talking about like, oh, like Wolverine, Magneto, all that stuff. And again, I didn't have any like idea who it would have been. Like my thought, like, God, I'd love it if it was Deadpool, but lo and behold, here it is. It's
I don't think it. you go.
Supposedly, Professor Xavier.
Yeah, that's who it is, but I don't think Deadpool's out of the picture yet. I actually am pretty certain that I think Deadpool's going to be in this movie.
Really?
I just feel like with how happy it seems like Disney is with Free Guy, how they let him use Korg for that trailer reaction. They keep saying, which is a good thing, because I was someone that was worried that like, oh, the script's 70% done, or they think there's a 70% chance we can shoot next year, which would mean 2023 is Deadpool 3. So they've talked a lot about it. I think there's a good chance if it's just a scene or a portal they go through or a cameo, I think Deadpool is, I would go as high as saying 75%. I'd say I'm that confident on it. Yeah, because it's easy. It's very easy. I think you could do it, and he doesn't have to be a part of the main plot. You really would have picked Wanda as the person who was going to have the big showdown with her in the serious one. Would have been Deadpool coming out.
That'd be pretty cool.
I'm down for that. That's fine. I guess the thing that does throw me off, and I'll ask you because you're not the biggest X-Men fan, and you're the only one here with me, but I was kind of surprised with the Xavier thing because one, I did think it would be Magneto just because you could have some fun sort of ties there, like, you know, the father-daughter thing if they wanted to go that route. But either way, he's a powerful mutant, right? I just am surprised that if we introduce Professor Xavier, whatever it is, whatever version, whatever actor, that's officially introducing a mutant / X-Men in the MCU. And I always thought we would get like the introduction first and then you see the multiverse versions of it. You know, I think it's a weird introduction. Deadpool I don't count. He's kind of on his off like own little island. So do you think that does that kind of make you question as far as like I believe some of these scoops, but do you think that it's strange that they would introduce even just the concept of mutants in Doctor Strange Multiverse Madness, which I don't think would be I don't know, it's not going to be the explanation of mutants. I don't think like unless I know people have had that theory of like, what if the Fox X-Men come over to the, I don't know if I really want that, but where are you on that as far as the mutants debuting in Doctor Strange 2, if this is to be believed?
I think it's something that people are pretty hopeful for. At the same time, I mean, this would be a great time to, as I said before, dabble into these things and bring them on in. But I do think that Multiverse of Madness is going to focus on cleaning up the stuff we've seen with Loki, Spider-Man No Way Home, WandaVision. That's the stuff that they've kind of been alluding to and putting out there to have fixed and have dealt with. And I feel like Doctor Strange is going to show half the movie, or maybe the whole movie will be concluding that and just kind of like repairing the damages and fixing everything. Or it's just going to be a segue into him dealing with everything. And maybe it does deal right into the X-Men. And then that leads off into another Avengers film or something like that. I just feel like when you look at it this way, what they're building up to, I mean, they have to build up to that next end game at some point. And again, whether this is the time period between now or between Endgame and the next Avengers film, do they just dish out the Fox mutants? I'm kind of skeptical that they do. I think they're going to use this time to focus on these new characters that they brought in, the Eternals, Shang-Chi, all that stuff. And they're going to look at this new Avengers team and they're going to look at these new heroes. They're going to get to the next Avengers film. And maybe that's when they start dropping more hints and cues on, okay, here's the Fox mutants, the X-Men are coming in or something like that. Again, I'm not saying no to having like one character or two characters from X-Men, but I feel like most people are thinking we're going to get like the whole buffet of X-Men characters. I don't think that's happening. I way more believe we'll get like a Patrick Stewart, like Professor X, and then one other character as opposed to all of them.
Well, I was going to ask you because I feel like there's been lots of casts that we've done, but I don't know if I recalled you being on any of them. Maybe because whenever X-Men's in the title, you avoid them. But what is your, like, if Feige comes to you and he says, okay, we got the rights to X-Men, we're going to introduce them. Have you had an idea in your mind as far as one way you'd like them or maybe one way you really wouldn't like them to? Because everyone's pitched the, like, do you do the they've been here the whole time? Do you do the the snap caused mutants? Do you do the, like I said, they come from a different multiverse and that's why we haven't bumped to them? Like, is there one that particularly speaks to you? Because obviously X-Men, it's not like Spider-Man where it's like, oh, it's one character, or Daredevil, right? We have Daredevil, Rumors, like Ghost Rider. All these are pretty much characters that you can bring in. Even Fantastic Four, it's a family of four. Okay, but X-Men is literally like its own type of universe. So do you have a way for you? Because like I said, I don't think we've really talked about this United Together as far as how you would, because I don't personally have, I like, because it's tough for me. I like the idea of something caused and we have mutants, but then you lose like the history of it, Xavier and Magneto, who have been like, you know, wise and have these powers for years. So it's like, oh, do you start off with Xavier and Magneto younger? But then it's like, well, we just got that. But then if we get McAvoy, then it's like, well, I don't know. So like, do you have a preference of how you would introduce, like I said, Feige sits you down like, Kate Taylor, how are we going to bring in all these characters? I'm not saying they have to be the same actors, but just the concept of mutants coming in the MCU. Because like you have Wolverine too, who's like been alive for decades, but if he just becomes a mutant now, it's kind of a little strange, right?
Yeah, I don't think it would be something like, I don't think it's an event like people were saying, like, oh, in WandaVision, everyone that's inside the hex is going to get mutant powers. I don't think it's that like sugar-coated. I think that with the multiverse, you could have, I don't know, you could have different variants of people that maybe get like fudged around and brought into this universe. Like you could have a Professor Xavier in our universe. I mean, this is obviously a super far stretch, but you could have an Xavier in our universe, and then all of a sudden he gets swapped around with another one, and that other one has mutant abilities. I mean,
how do you feel with the Eternals route of they've been here the whole time, we just haven't seen them?
I think you can only get away with that so many times.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to give it to them as a pass this time around, but they can't do that again. And I feel
they
like
maybe wasted their shot.
Yeah. I mean, they could have used it for X-Men for sure. This is the only time that they can do it, and I'm okay with that or whatnot. But as far as X-Men goes, I don't see them replicating this. I feel like 110% they're gonna just shimmy them in where they get their powers, or they'll be, I mean, maybe Professor Xavier will be like, we were expecting like an older man. What if he is a younger guy and I don't know,
he's a
like
small boy?
Yeah, the multiverse is just so opportunistic. Like it's full of opportune possibility of just bringing these characters with their powers. So I don't know, I can't fathom it, and I feel like it's going to be on par with just the Time Stone, and he's like, Dormammu, I've come to bargain, and it's going to be something like that you're just trying to comprehend and like catch up with, and that's how they're going to bring in the X-Men.
It's funny because I feel like maybe last time I guessed on Marvel Alliance, someone in the chat had brought this concept up, and that was maybe like 2 months ago. And I had shot it down pretty much of the idea of the X-Men are in another multiverse, and how we meet them is they'll just travel to and forth. Because I almost didn't like that because it felt like, well, we're kind of like cutting them off from the MC, right? Like, oh, they're kind of here, but they're off the side. But as we get closer, it is just one of these things of like, it's either that or you're gonna have to make complete huge changes to each character. Like I said, with you already will have to with this, I imagine, with Magneto and Professor X. I've said this before. You're not going to do the Holocaust again, I don't think, because that would make them almost 90 to like they would be, I think, too old. So there's many other unfortunately instances in life you could use, but like I said, you lose some of that. You lose the idea of Wolverine being this like lost traveler who's been alive for generations and generations. So it's like either you kind of have to do the multiverse thing, you have to do the, oh, they've been here the whole time, which yeah, Eternals is doing that. Captain Marvel kind of did that too. Like she wasn't around, but still it's like she inspired the Avengers name, and then she went off to space and everything like that. So it's like that would be almost like a third or fourth time of, oh yeah, they've always been here. There is one run that I wouldn't mind where it's a newer one that you've never seen in movies or TV shows or anything, that they have this place called Krakoa, and they pretty much bargain with the US government to have this land completely to themselves, and you can only enter it if you're a mutant. That's the only thing I would like, is if that's the unfortunate thing. You would have to do a prequel in like the early 1990s, or which people would love that, but even like maybe 1900s, and establish mutants, and then they've been hiding this whole time, and not even the Eternals way where it's like because they're cowards, just because they hate mankind. But then again, I always think like the second Thanos snapped, it's like you get more, it's a bigger issue than like fuck the humans, right? So I don't, it's interesting. I'm very curious to see what they're going to do. It's just I don't know. I think Wolverine is the one character you could get away with. He's been around the whole time because he's a loner, so maybe he didn't want to join and stuff like that. Who would you pick? Again, Feige comes to you. You get new actor, McAvoy or Stewart, who's playing this. And they've also said that this character, this Xavier, may have a, not a, I won't say a large role, but be a part of something else in the MCU. I'm not going to say it because it's too spoilery. I did read it. So it might, I'll say this, it might not be a one and done for this Xavier. What route would you go? You want me to go first? What do you think?
Go first. I gotta think.
So it's interesting because we'll get to Wolverine in a second, but there was rumors that they met with him and he was on the casting sheet, and apparently he turned it down. We'll talk about it, and I think I know why he turned it down if this is true. But then Xavier said I always do that. Patrick Stewart said that he did have a meeting with Kevin Feige and they talked, and he said nothing really came of it. That could be complete bullshit, but they at least met. I think that if it is just a cameo, you could do Stewart, but at the same time, if you're thinking of using someone going forward a lot more, I'm not trying to be that guy, but James McAvoy hopefully has a lot more years ahead of him, right? Where Patrick Stewart is an older guy. So if it is a cameo, just appear, hey, look at this cool moment, then get Stewart. That's fine. But if you're looking to build upon this Xavier and use him again, I would say get McAvoy, or I guess you could even do a new actor, but I want the new actor to be like whoever the MCU prime Xavier is that guy. But again, maybe if we're dealing with different multiverses, if they say, hey, this Xavier is going to play a role and then he's going to go back to his universe, then it to me should be a new actor. Because if you're establishing, hey, these are our new X-Men, then sure. And that would kind of be fun. Like if it was, like, I don't know, I'm talking myself more and more in that it is the multiverse thing. I thought they would never kind of do that because I don't know. But either way, I think that you go with McAvoy or a new guy, someone younger. And even if it's an older Xavier, you can go like the 50, 60 route, not the, Stewart, who I'll look up while you're talking, but I feel like he's in his late 80s, something like that. And he's looking great. But, if you want to build like, hey, a 15-year franchise on X-Men, I don't know if Patrick Stewart's the guy. So,
yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like you either go with McAvoy
81.
Or 81. Wow. You go with someone who is younger, and there's no disrespect to Stewart. It's just like you go with someone younger, you go with someone like you're starting off a brand new X-Men universe for the most part with these characters, and they need to carry it for a long time. I mean, look at Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, and Robert Downey Jr. Again, like they weren't like super, super old, but they weren't super young, but they were young enough to carry on for like over a decade, this franchise. And I think that's very, very important. So when you bring in the X-Men and a team of all those heroes, they have to last for a very, very long time, especially because like, look, Wolverine, he's not supposed to be aging, right? But you can obviously like pull some Disney magic and CGI that a little bit.
They're good
but
now. The de-aging, you know, they can get
Yeah.
anybody and keep them looking young. Yeah, and again, like not to be a downer, but life happens. Look at Chadwick Boseman. I'm sure they
Yeah.
had plans for him to be like a 10-year guy, and life gets in the way. So I'm not saying, oh, you pick a young guy, nothing can happen. I'm just saying, even just for the fact of like, does even Stewart want to be doing that for another 10 years? Does he want to be playing Xavier till he's 90? I don't know. And I think I'm more sold on a new actor because I think that would have such a huge like oomph if we get, hey, I'm Charles Xavier, and it's someone we didn't even hear. Well, could they keep that under wraps though? That would be so interesting because
Mhm.
it would have been the scenario of Spider-Man No Way Home if we didn't hear about Alfred Molina or William Dafoe. So I doubt they'd keep it under wraps. I feel like that would leak if it was a new actor, you know, like.
Yeah.
But either way, I think that would be really cool to make their debut there, and maybe they announce it beforehand. I don't know. So we're gonna get into these Wolverine rumors right after this first ad break. And we're back. What a tease. What a tease. So apparently this fight that was going to go down was originally pitched to Hugh Jackman. And me and Chris, you can look in the archive. We covered this on Marvel Alliance. And we even said that we were covering this as like a what if it was true. How this started was, and you saw it, Taylor, but they'll have like not sometimes, all times in films, they'll have like a casting sheet or a casting call of people that they have to, you know,
Right.
get contracts down, everything like that. And Hugh Jackman was on that. And apparently the rumor was, and I don't know, maybe it was a separate fight, whatever it was going to be, that he was going to cameo in this movie. He was going to fight Wanda. And the quote was from the script where he was going to get decimated. Now I'm going to go first because everyone knows how I feel. I think arguably I could make a strong argument, that's what arguably means, of Hugh Jackman being the best comic book casting of all time. I still always give it to Heath Ledger, but after Logan, specifically if you use Logan, I could argue, and there's times where I wake up and go, you know what, Hugh Jackman might be the guy. So the thing is, he has this great send-off, right, with Logan and everything like that. You know, everyone's happy with it. He was happy with it. And he said many times that was the perfect way to go out. I would always want to see more Hugh Jackman. And the other thing is, I've always pitched too that I still think you could have him come back and then have Wolverine be Laura X-23 because she's getting more and more popular every year. And I think that almost would be smart because, like, hey, instead of replacing Hugh Jackman, let's just go with a different Wolverine right now, and then it's not the same character, and people wouldn't be, because I don't know, that one's tough. It's not the same as Toby. It's not the same as the Batman's. Like the person that steps in to be the next Wolverine, that's gonna be tough. And man, if that person sucks, ooh, and I'll say this too, as someone that hates Suicide Squad with Jared Leto, I will always acknowledge that having to follow Heath Ledger, not fun. Where Walking Phoenix got to follow Jared Leto, much easier to do. So when you have to follow that, that's tough. If the fight was 5 minutes, them going back and forth, destroying each other, and then the decimation word was that's how she took him out, I'd be fine with it. If it was, hey, we found someone from a multi-universe that's going to kick Scarlet Witch's ass, and he just comes in there and gets like Loki to Hulk, I would be very upset. And honestly, too, at the end of the day, I'm someone that's always said he can come back, and I don't think he's going to ruin his legacy, ruin his ending. That's still that character's ending, but if I'm Hugh Jackman and they go, hey, we want, and this is why I don't know if I fully believe this rumor, because I feel like Kevin Feige's smarter, but he did put Evan Peters in a show called WandaVision and name him Ralph Boner. So it does happen. Fuck Ralph Boner. So if the pitch was, hey, let's meet up, Hugh, they sit down and he says, okay, what do you got for me in Doctor Strange? And they say, like, even if he didn't get decimated, like, we want you to pop through a portal, fight Wanda, lose, and that's the cameo. It would be like, you know, junk food, where in the moment it'd be great, but you'd feel bad after, or it would have its effects after on your hips, where I'd pop to see Hugh Jackman and it'd be great to see one last time. But that's not how I would want to see him. I feel like it has to be something a lot more bigger, a lot more like something what we're getting right now, supposedly with the Toby Andrew thing. I think he deserves that, like a showcase, not he's going to pop in for a fight and then like just lose, and that's it. It has nothing to do with the plot. And again, these are just rumors. We don't know for sure. They're coming from the similar sources as this Fox stuff. So if that is true, that gets me, and I've heard a few things. I'm not going to say them here because some stuff might not be true. It's a little more on the spoiler stuff. I've heard a few things about Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness that just make me not as interested in the movie, other than, okay, we'll get some cameos, but the story I'm a little worried about. And then when I heard that, when it's like, oh, and he'd get decimated, I go, I don't know if that's how you treat like the Marvel legend. I'd say arguably next to Robert Downey, probably the biggest like Marvel character casting legend, right? So obviously you're not as big as X-Men fan, but I know you're a Wolverine fan. So what did you take from the he could have possibly been this fight cameo? And are you happy it didn't happen? Or are you somebody that you thought, oh, I would have been fine just to get him in there for one last dance?
I'm happy it didn't happen. I don't
Mm.
I don't think it's necessary whatsoever. I think it's kind of it I don't want to say a little ridiculous. It just wouldn't fit is what I'm saying. So I personally I think that save it, build up to it. There was already enough going on in the sense that they had to focus on, and like you said, like it just wouldn't really mesh well with the story. So
Yeah. So I think that's everything for that. So we'll see. I'm very excited when we get. Well, obviously we're gonna get Spider-Man No Way Home hopefully in December, and we'll get some hints of it there. But man, that trailer for Multiverse of Madness is gonna be. It's gonna be
Ghost
nuts.
Rider is gonna swing out on his bike. He's gonna like Midnight Suns. He's gonna have 2 chain whips on fire. Oh, it's gonna be good.
Suns with a U or an O?
Definitely.
He
With an
forgot.
O.
Yeah, there you go. And you're not expecting Nick Cage to be playing Ghost Rider, right?
I mean, all jokes aside, I'm not expecting him, but for the meme, I would. I mean, I'd be lying if there was like a part of me that was like, I'd love to see it.
So
Deep down, I would.
So I know Johnny Blaze is your favorite. So let me give you the two scenarios here. You can either get Johnny Blaze played by Nick Cage, but he passes off to a new Ghost Rider that becomes our main Ghost Rider right away, or you get a new actor playing Johnny Cage or Johnny Blaze, and he's our
First
main.
one.
The first one, even if you got a little Nick Cage and he hands it off to
I would
someone,
take it 110%. And I'd love to see that, like him just passing off the rider, just to have him in the MCU in that moment. I think it would catch everyone by surprise. Who he would pass it on to, I don't know. I guess it would be cool to see more
the
of an
Punisher in there.
MCU cinematic Robbie Rider
Robbie
done.
Reyes, yeah.
Yeah, because I got nothing against the version they did in Agents of Shield, but I just thought, oh, it wasn't like my kind of rider that I was super into. Like it was cool. He had the Dodge Charger or whatever kind of stuff that was neat, but I don't know. It just seemed too Agents of Shieldy. I want to see like insanity.
You're just trying to say it felt too cheap, is what you're saying. That's
I
what you're
guess,
trying to say in
yeah.
a nice way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to be Cosmic Ghost Rider because that would be hype, and that'd be such a fun way to bring in Punisher. But yeah, we'll see. My theory is you'll not see him in human form if he's in this movie. I think you'll just be the rider.
I agree.
And then they can kind of wait to cast an actor, see what it is. Maybe they'll just get the guy who plays Red Skull now. He can do all these like mocap characters and whatnot. So speaking of comic book stuff and big movies that are coming out in March, because if things stay, which they probably won't, we're supposed to get Multiverse of Madness and the Batman back to back in March. Ooh. Man, I want to live in that timeline so bad. But anyway, so there's tons of details out there, tons of stuff about the Batman because they had a screener. We are not going to say any of those spoiler stuff, anything like that. I'm going to give you two things that I thought were interesting, things that are pertinent to me. But if you don't want to hear anything, you could skip, I'd say, about 10 minutes and we'll probably be moving on to the next conversation. But I don't think these are anything massive, but I guess it's three things. So like I said, if you don't care about spoilers, aka if you're S-bubs, you can go out there, start hunting and everything like that. But if not, or if you do, like I said, we're not getting that territory. So the three most important things that I wanted to bring up for myself that I thought was interesting is one, as right now, the people that are seeing the movie, it's 3 hours long. I don't know if it will stay that way. That's the first screening, but obviously that would be the longest theatrical Batman. Yes, BVS is 3 hours, but that's not a solo Batman movie. So like 3 hours. The other thing, which I'm very excited for, because as a comic book fan, we've been asking for this for years, is apparently he narrates the whole film. That's what to me I really love, because in comic books, like you don't like that happens a lot, and you don't really get them in the movies because it doesn't, I don't know, transcend from screen to page. But I think with a noir or like even detective tale Batman, you could do that. And the other thing is, people said like it's very creepy. They said it's very horror vibes. Lots of people said Paul Dano and Zoe Kravitz are great and Pattinson's great. No surprise there. But the big thing was, and obviously this brings up the debate again, and for me, it's not a debate, it's just what you prefer. But apparently, and this is where the most Marley, like not even spoilers, but just like I feel like they're going to talk about this before. Apparently, this Batman will not kill, and there's going to be at least a scene or something that makes it very clear that's his motivation. So even though we had that trailer of him just destroying that dude, he at least has the motivation not to kill. So obviously I threw a lot at you, Taylor, but what do you think one of ours, like going back to that sort of rule, and does any of the other, because I know you don't read comics, so I'm sure the narrative stuff doesn't really excite you. I don't think you really care about a runtime as long as you love the movie. So, but what do you feel about some of the stuff I've been laying on you?
Yeah, runtime. I got no problem with a 3-hour movie, especially like Batman. I'm totally down for that. Now, a Batman that doesn't kill, I really, really do like that concept a lot. And they threw it out the window with the Snyderverse, but this time around, I'm happy that we have like a young Batman like starting out first couple of years, and he's holding true to that kind of belief system. Like, I'm not going to dabble in that. I think it's awesome. So 3 hours though, that would just be super, super cool just to experience. It would really, really be awesome, especially if he's narrating. I think that I know you've talked about that in the past, and it is such an interesting concept because the only time that we've had a superhero narrate to a degree is Iron Man 3. And I would love to see it from Batman's or Bruce Wayne's perspective of just like dealing with things and how he's like not even like talking to himself, but just kind of coping with it and kind of talking to some. I know it's detail isn't talking to the viewer, but not so much talking to the viewer, but like I'm sure they'll set it up in a very interesting way, but just how he dives into these different things and expresses like his experiences, that's what I'm really looking forward to, because you always see what's on the outside, and you just see like in the Bale trilogy him just always overcoming and dealing with these things, but you don't get that like core inside thing. You get to see him express it through physical pain and emotional trauma, but to have him narrate these things like kind of like a Dexter-esque kind of scenario. And I think that's very, very attractive for this kind of film and character.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna hit on. The thing that like obviously is like a Batman comics guy. I love that, but that's to me the biggest thing that could set it apart from other movies is you could really dive into the psyche of Bruce Wayne. You could really get into his head. And they've talked about that before, that this is not anything from the footage. Matt Reeves said last week at CinemaCon, this is he's trying to make the most emotional Batman ever. And I feel that, and I don't think just means like he's like crying all the time, but maybe it does. But I think like you'll get that reasoning for it. And I just love that. And I think it would set it apart right away. Cause like I know, like you said, Iron Man 3 has that, but it's like a little at the beginning, a little at the end. The rumor is this is like the whole film, that he's talking the whole film. And it reminds me a lot of like American Psycho, which I would love. And the no kill rule for me is, to me, excuse me, pretty essential. You can go back in long form. I talked about this with Greg from SES, I think last year. I can't remember when, but we did the, should Batman kill or not kill? We did about an hour and a half talking about that because he's someone that doesn't care that Batman can kill. Good for him. And we had a good conversation about it. I like Batman not killing because I always believe they say, okay, how does this man become like the superhero that fights aliens and gods? Well, he's supposed to be the best of us. He's supposed to be super intelligent. He's supposed to have the best body condition. Obviously, is the best as far as wealth and income. And then to me, it's also, he's supposed to have like the best spirit, where in my life, I'm somebody that agrees with the death penalty. I would agree for there being a Punisher out there in lots of cases, but with the idea of this guy goes above and beyond that. And you have someone like the Joker, where it's like he should kill this guy, but he finds a way not to because he's that strong. Now, I do like the combination of, because Clay and I were talking about this, is fanboy Clay, someone that doesn't care about it at all, and he thinks it's just like a box. I agree with Brent where it's not a box. It's, to me, makes the character more interesting than other people. It's just like it just writes it off. Like, okay, there's bad guy, kill him. Okay, it's over. Easy enough. And same thing. That's what I didn't like about him, BVS. BVS, I think that you could have pulled that off. I've said before, but I think you needed a whole another movie, or in my opinion, we can all have different thoughts, but you needed stronger screenwriting from both Terrio and Snyder in that, because a few mentions about, oh, there's new rules, that's not a whole arc, ladies and gentlemen, like in my opinion. Plus, he doesn't kill Superman, and then he just fucking murks a bunch of guys in the warehouse. But we've talked about that millions of times. My point is that I think it makes the character overall way more interesting. And it's not a debate. I'm not looking to change people's mind, especially after 2016. I learned it's just, that's the version I like. If you don't think Batman has to have a no kill rule. If you don't think that makes him more interesting, then great. For me, the other way, it just makes him a part of the rest of the people. It does, especially sometimes makes him just like he's just Punisher now. He's just another character, especially in the BVS era, especially some of the Frank Miller stuff. That's why I'm not even the biggest Frank Miller fan, because there's some stuff where he does enforce no kill rule, but there's other times where I like Batman being brutal. But this is the other thing, because Clay said like, "Oh, I don't understand your," Clay, I think he was just mad because he's still reeling from the loss. Because again, people, if you tune into the stream, Taylor and I beat them in DC Alliance, and then I kicked his ass. What was it? He only scored 6 goals. I scored, what was it? 22 goals, 22 goals, 778. And this is why I told everyone that I gave him the win last time. And I even told you guys, and I was like, "Oh, I don't believe you, Travis." Even Brent, my good friends, like, "Oh, I don't know about that." I'm somebody that has 2 titles right now. I've beaten everyone in GeekVerse. You think I could have actually lost to Clay? And look at that match that happened. I dominate him. And here's the difference. I said that right after I lost. I said I threw it to him for charity, wanted to raise more money. You know what he did? He said he threw it for my birthday. But if you watch that tape, if you rewind, he first was talking about how he was having an off day. He didn't play the greatest. He made a lot of mistakes. But then he's like, "Oh, but then I let him win." I, from second one and day one, said, "Hey, I threw the match." He gave this, "Oh, yeah, I didn't do the greatest." And then 5 minutes later, "Oh, yeah, I threw it." No, bullshit. He didn't stay to it. So, and also Hines, who said, "I threw the match, lost integrity." I feel like you guys lost complete integrity. So I'm glad to move past that chapter in my life. Me and Taylor dominate. I dominate. I don't got to defend the title against Clay. And now I got a sports title match with Kirklin, and I'm very excited. You're going to beat Kirklin in Call of Duty November 6th. I'm going to beat him, be the first 3-time champion. But either way, so Clay was probably a little salty when he said, like, "I don't understand your idea of Batman being like a psychopath but not killing." There's like, look at Taylor and myself. There's millions of people that are mentally unstable, but we don't kill people, and that's what my mentally unstable Batman is. The guy who has to go out there every night and do this. Even if there's no crime, he has to stand there and just look around and be like, there's got to be something. He's the guy that like loves the idea of the Joker being out. He's not going to admit it, but he needs that excuse to go out there and do something. He's obsessed with it. He can't stop. He's compulsive. He has an addiction. And that's why I like when I mean he's mentally unstable. I don't need him fucking murking people. I don't need him blowing people up with flamethrowers. I just need him to be obsessed with, I can't have a life past this mask. And everything I've heard from this movie has that. And the no kill rule, I think that even makes it better that he's mentally unstable, but he's trying to press himself not to kill. Because if he's mentally unstable and then he's just killing a bunch of dudes, there's nothing like good to tell there. There's nothing like, that's just like, okay, that is Frank Castle, but this is like, he's on the edge. He's on the edge. He's so close, but he's not going to cross it. And that's what I love. It sets up those possibilities. And I'm super excited. As I said on Twitter, everything I've read about this movie just feels like, and I haven't read the specific spoilers, thank goodness. I just read these cliff notes. Anything else I've stayed away from because I don't even need another trailer, but we'll watch for GeekVerse. But it feels like Matt Reeves has reached into my fucking brain and said like, "Hey, this was the Batman movie you wanted to see. I'm going to make it for you, Travis." And it's just like Catwoman, Riddler, Paul Dano, all the shit, Robert Pattinson, like, and then all the things I hear, no kill rule, 3 hours, narration. I'm so excited. Like I said, from that trailer, I've just been off the rocker. So anything else you want to add on the Batman, Taylor?
No, I don't think so. I'm excited for it. I'm really pumped.
Yeah, probably October we'll get another trailer because that's when DC Fandom is. So we'll be doing another all-day event for that. So that's going to be tons of fun. Keeping in the DC realm, this probably won't be a long one. So I'll throw you, Taylor. It seems like it's official, or at least in pre-production, that the writing scripts, they said they got a long way to do. But HBO Max is supposedly doing a Black Canary spinoff. So that was from Birds of Prey. She's going to get her own movie. I'm going to ask you what you think about this after our second ad break. All right, we're back. Taylor, what do you think about this? I think you like Birds of Prey, you like Black Canary, so I feel like this is something that you'd be down for.
Yeah, I like Birds of Prey. I like Black Canary. I was not expecting them to dish out this for her character. But I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I think it's cool. It's not my first go-to.
Like in DC or Birds of Prey?
Out of the Birds of Prey characters, I was much. I'd say I was much more inclined like to look into more of like Huntress' character.
Oh, I wonder why.
I know, but again, we did kind of like a backstory from her a little bit. But even then, I would have loved to have had like I know he died, but a Black Mask kind of like origin stuff like that, or
He
I don't
has
know.
Kenobi, his black
Yeah.
mask. He's popping off and
Yeah.
screaming.
I feel like there are other opportunities, but the same day, like Black Canary, she was a very popular character. A lot of people
Yeah.
loved her character in this movie, so I don't
Golden
blame
Geek
them for
nominee.
yeah, I don't blame them at all for going with like the popular route and like appealing to the fans, I guess you could say. So I mean, yeah.
Well, I think the good thing is that with this movie going forward, this is the only thing because they end up being Birds of Prey. Does this mean this has to be a prequel, like before that stuff? Because you feel like either it could be a prequel or you have to see some of these other characters around, don't you? Because they
I
ended as
hope
like a
it's not a
unit.
prequel.
Well, I feel like there's always a good chance, but here's another reason why I think they can make this for HBO Max is I don't know on a theatrical level if it has the same pull, but this is a woman whose main powers are sonic screams and butt kicking. It I think it can be made to look very well for very cheap, and that's not to be offensive, but it's not going to be I think a high budget movie, so I think
Mhm.
that's why. Huntress is the same thing, but that's why. But if it's not Taylor or prequel, where are these other characters then? They were the Birds of Prey at the end of this. Are they just
They
not
could
there?
easily, I mean, the universe is such a mess. They could easily just break them up. I mean, Harley is clearly not there. I'm sorry,
She
DC
wasn't a
fans.
part of the Birds of Prey though. Harley left. Remember, she stole the car. The
I
Birds of
guess that's true.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, sorry, DC fans. Like, you just gotta acknowledge, like, it's an absolute mess. It's like you have you. Here's a food thing. You go to the buffet, and it's literally just someone just going down the line, scooping from every single tray, putting it on. Then you got the normal person, like the Marvel. I should say normal. That's gonna be. I know.
Someone's gonna cut that out.
I know. They're going up and they're like, I'm gonna take a little bit of chow mein, I'm gonna take a little bit of chicken fried rice, and here's a little bit of sesame chicken, and they're good. So
So you're saying Marvel's plate looks like it all matches in this one part meal, where DC's is just like just a
they
plate
went
of
to every
nothing.
single bin, just scooping everything onto the plate.
I appreciate that because that's me. I'll get some French fries while I got some wonton soup at the same time. You know.
Well, that's fine, but you're picking it like concisely. Like you can do that. You can go from one side to the other side, but this guy's going every single bin all on one plate, not multiple plates, one plate. So
Wow. Wow. Yeah. You hear that, Taylor said DC's, Marvel has the smart, educated, well put together
oh yeah,
people.
that's quote unquote exactly what I said.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm excited. We apparently, you don't even know this character, but I think you'll really like this character, Blue Beetle. He's going to HBO Max movie. You'll have to
What?
You'll look into him. He has to do with like Transformers, like suits, alien tech. You're going to like, if you search DC Blue Beetle, I feel like he's going to be right up your alley. There's two of them, but still the main preference and the one they're going with, I think, is the newest one that has like an alien technology attached to his back. Like it's called a scarab, I think. Yeah. And it's like a machine around him. You're going to love Blue Beetle. I think it's just going to be your bee's knees. So they're making that for HBO Max. They're making Batgirl, which they're starting to film right now. So it's actually happening. And then this, and there's that rumored, maybe you were gone when did you hear about the rumored Michael B. Jordan Superman show? Did you hear about that before you left?
Oh, that was rumored. Like, I didn't know it was a show, but him just in general as Superman, that's been around for a while.
Well, the show was what the newest rumor was, that it might actually be happening. So I like this, that they are Warner Brothers owns DC. Whatever you want to talk about their mass creative decisions, the fact that they are not pumping out content like Disney Plus is as far as DC stuff, and they're starting to now, which sounds good, but they should do that. So doing all these movies, shows, stuff like that, I'm very, very excited. And plus it just gives us more stuff to review and talk about, right? And it's streaming too, so it's easy for us to watch and plan and everything. Are you seeing Blue Beetle right now?
I saw it. When you said it, my first thing that came to mind was like the tech or whatever it was.
No.
But I like his suit. I like his Mega Man cannon. I like scarabs. I think that's super cool. So
yeah, like I said, if you were to watch one episode of an anime thing, you'll be in love with them. So they're making that for HBO Max. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Speaking about streaming, I have to try and find it, but like, so Dexter is coming out November 7th every Sunday. At least I will be here Sunday, Monday, whatever we'll review it. I'll be here. We'll see about these guys, but Dexter New Blood comes out November 7th. As I plugged earlier, the Dexter retrospective will be dropping in September. You can get the first 2 episodes right now with myself on Patreon right now, our Patreon. So where did I'm trying to find, they had a quote about Debras' role in there. But anyway, so like I'm gonna paraphrase the holy hell, but just stick with me. They it was rumored a while that she was coming back. They put out a full press release of a behind the scenes video as well, showing that she's in it. She's talking with Dexter. Seems like she's in multiple episodes. And she said, like, I'm not a ghost. So she said she's not like Harry. But then when she started to describe the role, she's just like, oh, I'm Dexter's conscience. I'm his pain. I'm his anger and all this stuff. It's like they can say it's not a ghost and I get what they're going for. Like it's something else. But she's a fucking ghost. She's the same way Harry is. It's just his new type of muse and stuff like that is that going. But how do you feel about her? Maybe I'm sure Harry will make an appearance, but it seems like she's going to be in more than just one episode because they've said like John Lithgow's coming back as a Trinity killer. That's confirmed. But I bet that might be one episode, maybe just one scene. Where Debra, it sounds like she could be a through line for the whole series. How do you feel about her coming back in that aspect? Because obviously she died the very last season, thrown off the boat and everything like that. So how do you feel about her coming back? Do you think that works for you, or is that something you would have left like in the water? Say you don't need to have her also be like a ghost figure talking to Dexter.
Well, she's clearly going to replace the dad, so I think it works because you have each one of these familiar characters from the good times of Dexter's series coming in that'll probably portray different moments. I think you'll have Debra come in and be like, don't do this, Dexter. Like, this isn't what you should be doing. Then you have the Trinity Killer probably coming in, like, like offering different advice. They're all going to tackle different things depending on the different scenarios that he sees himself in. And I'm okay with that. I like it because we're getting these characters that were very, very popular again amongst the fan base that will be guiding his hand. I have a question for you after you go on this.
I think it's necessary. Like the second they introduce in season 3 the ghost or his inner conscience, I do like that. I'm a fan of that trope of imaginary characters, Jiminy Cricket on your your shoulders. I always fucking do that on your shoulders. Like that's a trope that I like, and that's a trope that spoiler will be in some GeekVerse movies in the future. It's already in one script. Like I just think it's an easy way of like, instead of, you can do narration like we talked about with the Batman, but what's another way to show what a character's thinking? Well, to have them have an actual conversation with their conscience, a ghost, a character, something like that. So I'm all for it. Them saying she's not a ghost, I think is like a bullshit thing of like, okay, whatever, like whatever you want to call a ghost, then fine. But I think it's warranted. I'm happy because that first trailer I did really like, but it felt so secluded from everything else Dexter. I was kind of worried it'd be too secluded. I didn't want to just be, a new season of Dexter to either kill him off or get him arrested. That was the whole problem with the finale. Was one, it was bad, but two, it felt like they didn't really wrap up everything with other characters. So even though he's not in Miami, my hope is that he gets arrested and like extradited to Miami or something. Cause like, I want to know what's happening with Batista and Masuka and all this stuff and everything like that. Like, and I want them to find out that Dexter's a serial killer. Like that was the thing. He just left. Dexter season 7 retro or season 8 retro, it's coming. But I think these characters that have passed, the other two that I really want, because Trinity was a big one. I love Miguel, Jimmy Smith's Miguel. I don't need that one because I feel like people don't love him like I do, but I'd love it. I think the other two that are needed, I think you need Rita for sure. I think she has to appear once, especially because like she never found out, so you'd kind of play that. And for the fan service, they gotta get Dokes. They have to have Dokes in for.
Oh yeah.
People fucking love Dokes for every reason why. I said in an alternate universe, that guy should be Luke Cage. That actor would have been perfect. So those are the other two that I think if you have Debra, Trinity, Rita, and Dokes, you actually, okay, one more, Brian, his brother, the Ice Truck Killer. Those 5, you don't need anyone else. I don't know what they're going to do with his son or Hannah McKay and all that stuff. There's sometimes I think they might just completely not ignore it, but just move it off to the side. But what was your question?
I saw that there was like a photo of Dexter standing next to a older, like grown, like kid, and people were all talking about like, what's his name? Harrison. Yeah. I don't really believe that.
What area is that photo? Let me try and find it.
I feel like it's just that's people just kind of like, it's got like Harrison, yeah, it all fits, a lot of jazz. But like, I don't understand like why people are saying, like, he's got like Rita's eyes and Dexter. I'm thinking like, you guys are way too far fetched. I think it's just a local kid from town that he's probably just like taking a liking to.
Now I'm seeing all these like theories and everything like that. Like, yeah, no, I don't. Well, In this scene, which is filmed outside Gig's butcher shop, Audrey, who is played by a young actress, blah, 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 steps off, offers Randall. Well, so this is the kid in question. I'll try and get a clear image. That's the kid you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you do at some point have to have the kid in the show. I think for a full wrap up, it always I'll get to the retro, but it just never made sense to me. Why the fuck did he leave this kid? Like, why do they know? And like, he also left him with like this also like another serial killer. Like, it was so far fetched. But I think I think there's two scenarios there. Okay, well, there is three scenarios. He gets caught, and everyone finds out, oh, that's Dexter, blah, blah, blah. And his son goes to meet him, and they have that come to Jesus, like, why were you a killer, all this stuff. So he gets caught. He goes out searching for his son. That's option 2. But I don't think he's going to be leaving this place that much. I don't think it's like a Kenobi situation. So I don't see that. Now, option 3 is his son is actively going to look for him, right? But that would mean his son is questioning him dying in that storm, which is kind of a little far. So it's like he's thought like, my dad didn't die in that storm. And then he's like tracked down his dad who faked his death. That's when it starts again to like, this is too type of cheesy. I think the best option is Dexter, whoever his personality is in this town, he gets arrested, and then they start to put together like, hey, you're Dexter Morgan, and then they start to put all of it together like, he was the Bay Harbor Butcher, he was this, blah blah blah. And you get like, when we never got like the answers of like, why did Trinity kill Rita? The public should know now of like, yeah, he should be saying in an interview like, I tried to kill Trinity, it didn't happen, he killed my wife, and then I got him. Like, everything that we know as a viewer in this finale, the world should know. I think it should be like how on Netflix you have those 7 episodes like in the mind of, John Wayne Gacy. There should be like that in this Dexter show. It should be like a fourth wall breaking. So I feel that the best option is he gets caught and his son goes to see him in prison as like just one scene. His son should be super shitty to him because his dad's a fucking crazy person who, like, I'm even watching season 5 again where he's like, it starts with like, I can't put these kids in danger. And then right away he's back in it again. He's such a fucking hypocrite and I love him. So I feel like that's the only way. Is any of those other options play for you as far as how the son is introduced in this? Or could he not even be in this at all? Like, he's just, okay, he never met his son again. Harrison's gone.
You make some good points. If they don't bring him in, then there's a lot of loose ends that they fail to kind of wrap up with there. I could see it where his adopted mother serial killer kind of like
Hannah
instigates into him like, hey, your father could still be alive out there, like he's crafty, go find him, Harrison. I mean, who knows what they do. I mean, I really do think though that if he shows up in this town with Dexter as his dad, I feel like it would be something more significant or saved. I don't think it would be, hey, here's an image showing you Harrison, he found his father. I just feel like that's a little bit, I don't know, it doesn't fit. Dexter was a show full of surprises and left turns, so I'm really am inclined to think that it's just a kid. But that being said, there could be another kid in and around that is his son. Maybe it is flashbacks. I don't know. It's tricky to say.
Flashbacks.
There's so many
to the show we
characters.
saw.
Yeah, there's so many characters that they're going to be like popping into the show. Again, playing as his conscious. So I doubt Harrison would be one of those members of his consciousness because all these characters are going to be dead.
It's just a little kid.
Yeah, it's a little kid.
Hey,
yeah.
Dad, he's just taking care of a kid. What's your percent that we see Harrison at all? Doesn't matter how we get there, just percent.
37%. I think 37. Yeah, I'm feeling
37, not 30,
I,
not 40, 37.
37. I feel like that's being generous because I do feel like that they're just gonna just push forward and just kind of come to a proper conclusion for him. And again, I understand they have to at some point bring in Harrison because of Rita, but Harrison was only in the show being held on people's arms, right? Like, yes. You just look at like he had no actual weight. Now, I didn't feel like he had much weight with Dexter. The only thing he served as was a reminder that, oh my God, Harrison has become me because he's experienced the same thing I did.
Yeah.
I feel like
And a
that's the
plot
only
device
thing.
to get kidnapped too every
Yeah.
once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. We as people have put more into Harrison as character in the show, and this is where I'll say, because I think Jessica brought this up, and she can have this narrative. Other people can. I want zero, absolutely zero of, oh, Harrison found his dad, and guess what, Dad? I'm also a killer too. I don't want that. That's just way too. And I get that his mom Hannah is a serial killer, but the idea was she was supposed to be moving past that. Like, I just don't. That's when the show. Anyway, I think we pitch Harrison meeting Dexter, it feels cheesy like those last few seasons of like, this just doesn't feel believable. I think the perfect way, I think this would be bone chilling of, imagine if Dexter gets caught and he goes to get executed, right? And you know how when they execute people, I don't know if they still do this. Do they still do the thing where people can watch people be executed?
I think they do, yeah.
So let's say you do that, right? Imagine if he's put in the chair, he's gonna get the needle, whatever it is, and when he sits down, they open up that sheet, you see everybody, you know, Angel, you see Masuka, you see other characters and stuff like that. And then when he looks aside, he just sees a young man who looks like Harrison, and we know that's Harrison. Imagine if that was the only time he saw his son ever again, right before he was going to be executed. No conversation, no nothing. I think that would be bone chilling of just that curtain coming up and his son looking him right in the face as he dies, and like not a single word, nothing. And like how sad that would be. But you know why it should be like that? Because Dexter should get a sad ending. You know, he shouldn't get, it's kind of like with, I never liked that. Like, that's why Breaking Bad's perfect, because Walter White, Heisenberg, he got exactly what he wanted. If you're spoiled, sorry, it's been so long, but it's like he got not what he wanted, but he got what he deserved. He became a terrible person near the end of this thing. And Dexter, I don't think he ever became like a terrible person, but he became a reckless person. And that's where he should still be punished for his actions, as far as even just like leaving this kid, you know, like all this stuff. So I think that would be great if the sheet comes up, you see Harrison, and that's it. Because that would be practical. He's going to go there, come to Jesus, see his dad get killed because his dad's a monster. He wants to like put that chapter behind him. And that would be just great and settled. All you need. If they want to have a conversation, sure, but I think that's all you need is just him in that kill room and it's over. And that's like, oh, that would floor you, you know?
You don't think it'll be him in his kill room and he's Harrison sneaking in? He's working for the cops now. Sneaks in all alone and he sees his dad like plunge the knife in.
No, I would hate that if Harrison's a cop and he like tracked his dad down. Like all that stuff just sounds so I don't want that at all. Like I want the combo of, I want it to be addressed and I want something from it, but you can't go too far, you know. But we'll see. Only a few more months, and you know, we'll see. What's funny, because this to me was like the Dexter replacement, and this is not a big topic, and then we'll end the show, was season 3 of You is coming out October 15th, which is so funny because I loved the show You because it reminded me of Dexter. It was like getting that Dexter type of vibe when the Dexter was good. And it's so funny that we're gonna like in the same year get a new season of You and a new season of Dexter. In a perfect world, there should be a crossover because Joe is perfect for Dexter's table. Like, imagine that conversation in the kill room. That would be so fascinating if Dexter and
They wouldn't
Joe
actually be talking. It'd just be the narrations back and forth.
yeah, they can reach his mind. But yeah, so October 15th sounds like it's binge style. And we've got some images. It looks like we see who Joe might be meeting as his new girl, because as you saw the last season, that even though he was married with a kid, he was like, oh, who's this? He can never be happy. He's a fucking sociopath. He's a psychopath. But I loved the just even little preview of like him talking about like, I'm gonna, the same way every season, like I gotta be a better man, I gotta be an example, we gotta get a good name, you know, classic name but not too basic. The baby's name is Henry. The baby's already gonna be born, just like Dexter season 4, it's already born. But what I loved, because, and no pun intended, is the teaser to me showed like Joe style, but then it was all about baking. So it shows like, to me, it shows like this show is going to be about Joe and love. It's not just going to be like, oh, love's there. The same way near the end, it felt like, okay, love is becoming like almost main character, like B in a sense. And that's why I love that it had his narration, but all her activities and stuff like that. And man, when he starts to cheat on her and love finds out, holy fuck, we are going to have fireworks. Like, I don't know, is she going to threaten this kid's life? Is she going to like, she's gonna threaten the mistress's life. It is, Taylor, this season is gonna be fucking wild. I'm telling you, it's gonna be so crazy. They're living in the suburbs, like it's gonna go nuts. Like, and I guarantee you, I promise you, whoever his mistress is, he's gonna get her pregnant. He's gonna get her pregnant, and oh man.
No.
And then Love, this is my prediction. I trust told you, Love is gonna kill the mistress that is pregnant with his child. Oh my, like, and I don't even think like Love could make it out. We might have to do we got October 15th. We might have to do predictions cast for that one because Kirkland's excited. Yeah, like, so obviously this was a bunch of a teaser, but we got lots of fun details. What are you thinking for You season 3 coming October 15th? Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm just ecstatic for it. I mean, it's been that great dose of Dexter that we've missed over the years, in my opinion, like an equivalent. But I think that he is, that cliffhanger in season 2, he's out for it. He's looking for the next best thing, and yeah, he's crazy. And if that's the case, like he gets this other girl pregnant, Love finds out, kills her, kills the child, and he learns about that. Then he's gonna, I can see it in my head, the narration, like, oh, I guess this relationship's over. She just doesn't care about me anymore. Like, I gotta put a stop to her because she's too much of a psychopath. Like something, I don't know. He'll sugarcoat in a way he thinks he's justified.
Oh yeah, it's the same way as like that's the best thing about season 2 of Love. Why I like it better than season 1 is he's so different than everyone else. And spoilers for season 2 of Love, so if you've not seen it, bow out now, and this is the end of the episode, so don't worry, you're not missing anything. Well, I do have one thing, Patreon Clay. There's a trailer you want us to watch. We're gonna do in the next newscast because this one was already stuffed. So we're gonna do the next newscast, but we'll let Taylor talk about Aliens Fire Team to end the cast. But anyway, so if you've not seen You and you're planning to, bow out. But that's what I love about season 2 is so he's looking for someone to love, and he meets Love, right? And he feels like he's not good enough for her, and he's always trying to be like, how could I be the perfect man for her? And the whole twist is that she's crazy, she's killed people, and she's literally perfect for him, but he didn't want a version of himself. He wanted someone better than himself. So even though he's met this woman who literally has all the same sensibilities, is a psychopath like him, a narcissist that is so emotionally detached, he wanted someone normal. So it's like he has the perfect woman, but because she's not normal, no, that's not the girl. And just
didn't he say like a narration, like what the fuck? Didn't he say something?
Oh yeah,
like that?
And he looks at her like a bad person, and that's it. He doesn't correlate that is you, man. That is like you are the same person, and it's just like classic, like, and that's why I love that they're tackling like relationship tropes, but like with this heightened serial killer sense, because I could attest that there's times where if you're in a relationship and then it's like literally to me when they do like the grass is green on the other side, the season 2 ends with a girl through the picket fence, like, and he's looking over at her like grass is greener on the other side. So it's just like that moment of like if you're with someone, it's like, and it's not working out, like, oh man, try to make it work, but there's this person here, or I could be out there seeing people. And I just love that he's like, yeah, gonna make it work, gonna have a wife, child, and I'm gonna be a better man. And then he just looks past that fence like, oh, hello, you. And it's like, oh man, he's just gonna be, until he gets caught or dies, he is going to be on this endless loop forever. No one's ever gonna be good enough for him, because you know why? He's not gonna be a normal person who's fine with him just killing people, you know. And that's why Love's perfect. So this season, oh man, it's gonna be like, I just think, I don't know if it'll be better than season 2, because I think the Love twist was really good and it was a good buildup. But as far as like craziness, it's gonna get wild. Because if he does kill Love, he's gonna be prime suspect number 1. And how does he get out of that? You know, like.
Well, they might do something where he pulls a fast one, kind of like Love did, right? Where they look down upon the brother, but really it was her doing, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, they could divert the attention. I mean, and he's great at doing that. I mean, the whole first season was him setting up that kind of scenario, right?
And plus, like, we didn't even talk about this because I think that we had this similar thing with Dexter in season 4. He's going to be a dad, and how does he raise his kid? And I think it's even worse that it's a guy, like a boy, because like he's going to raise it to be like him, like all the problems he has. He thought, like, that was the good thing about Dexter. At least like Dexter knew. He's a hypocritical character at times, but he did know he was a monster. He knew he was not right, and he kind of felt like he was getting away with it, like having a normal life. And his whole motivation was to make sure his kid was not like him. Where Joe, I think, is going to have the exact opposite of like, he's going to teach him everything for
you
like,
don't have a code. Just exploit your dark passenger as much as you can.
Yeah, he'll just kill people like if they just get in the way. There's no code. There's no, oh, I got to look up in this. So it's going to be a fun ride. I do hope for their sake that they maybe go 1 or 2 more seasons and that's it. I hope they don't get like Dexter where they go too far. Like I feel like I feel like you get the season with the baby, you maybe get one more, and then I think you could get him being caught and stuff. Yeah,
One
I
more,
agree.
I think it's it.
I agree with you. I think season 4, and I think he has to get caught. I don't actually want him to get killed. I think he's a character that you want to be locked up in prison for years, and you want like the world to know about like what a monster this guy was and all his identities and stuff. I feel he has to get caught because remember season 1, he pissed in Peach's house. Remember that jar, and no one's ever still found it. I'm telling you, that's what's gonna take him down. Is this piss jar 100%?
This jar.
It's like BVS, but no, I think I agree with you. I could see them stretch out to 5 because it's so popular, but I think one more is probably the best route to go. And I think that would be great if he were to kill Love, and that's what takes him down. Is like that's how they discovered, is because he like gets them off their track for a little bit, but anytime someone's like wife goes missing or dies, he's gonna be quite the suspect for quite a while. So yeah, so I'm very excited. And well, okay, we'll end off. So Clay asked a few things. So yeah, he asked about the card counter trailer. Me and Dylan and others will talk about that on Wednesday. We're doing a newscast at Midnight Sun, so I'll bring that up. Let's see. You also asked about After 9, which we'll be talking about at some point here. And then you asked, so should I this might be a sore spot for Taylor Clay, but here we go. Did any of you get Aliens Fire Team? I'm debating on buying it at some point. So Taylor Field, did you get Aliens Fire Team?
So did someone put him up to this? Like
I
of all
don't think
days,
so.
it had to be today. Like
so what happened with Alien Fire Team? Give us the whole saga.
So I do sell like my own shirts online, stuff like that, and it's consistent sales. It's awesome. Shout outs to people that are like buying these shirts. I think it's awesome. And I thought, you know what? Okay, with some of the money that I've saved up from this, I can buy Aliens Fire Team with it, because I'm on GameStop.ca and I see them. They've listed it. You can buy with PayPal, online order. And the game, again, is $49 Canadian, even cheaper in American, which I think is fantastic because most games are like $70, $80 these days. So like, okay, if I buy it, I Googled a couple of different things, and they were like talking about how you should get it the next, like on the day of. They ship it out the day before, and it should arrive there on time. So I thought, you know what? I'll just do it because it's through PayPal. Why not order a new game online? Never done it before. It's great. So I order it. And then I see, got my tracking number and stuff, and I see that it's labeled and packaged up the day before. And I think, okay, this is good. This is good. I can probably make it here in time if they ship it out fast enough. And then
gonna stream it
and everything. This was last Tuesday that it was coming out. I was super excited. And Tuesday comes up, and I see that it's not. Oh, hang on. I'm almost done.
It's your game.
Yeah, it's the game. I'm playing Aliens. But yeah, I see that it's not even left Brampton, Ontario, and I'm thinking, this is just horrible. Why is it in Ontario? Why is it not shipped out from like the store here? So I'm crushed. That just totally hits me where it hurts, and I see that the predicted date is August 31st. I think, holy shit, that's a week away. I'm gonna hold my hopes high though, and I see, okay, like it's made it to Calgary, and that was last Thursday that was in Calgary, and I'm still waiting. But today I get the update. It's like, oh, it's coming in. I wasn't thinking it was gonna come in today, but it said it's coming in. I'm super stoked. So I can see that it gets delivered to my house, and obviously no one was there because I'm a regular Joe Blow. I gotta work, 5 days a week. So no one's there to pick up the package, and they leave a slip. Now, God forbid they leave a slip for a tiny little envelope, but these bastards will leave a big ass $500 KitchenAid on my bloody doorstep. It's so fucking stupid. So I think, okay, you know what? That's fine. I know the slip's there, but I'm not going to go home and get it. I'm just going to go to the Pure Later office, and this is rush hour. So I go up from my work after I'm done, go up to the Pure Later place to go pick it up, because I got my ID and everything. I get there, and the sign is gone off the top. The windows are all like newspapered up. It's like we're closed for renovation or something, and this is fucking horrible. I don't know where to go now. So I think, okay, I'm going to drive home, 20 minutes back home. I pick up this bloody slip, and I think, okay, my theory was right. They changed the address. Now, I thought like I could wait, or I could go out, I could get it. And I thought I really want to go out and get it, so I went out another half an hour through traffic. The place that they moved to was the building behind the place I went to. So I went there and I walked
So
in.
you drove there, and then you drove back, and you drove pretty much just the exact same destination.
Exactly the same, just the building behind. It was so stupid. I'm so bummed about that. But anyways, I go in, and when I'm in there, I got my slip. And I realized, like, it says pickup date August 31st, which is tomorrow. I'm thinking, well, that's kind of weird that he would put that, even though the packages came in today and he was ready to deliver it. But I thought, you know what, whatever. I go up to the lady, I hand it to her, and she's looking at it, and she's like, oh, this is for August 31st. This is for tomorrow. We don't have it in here right now. It's still in the truck. I'm thinking, I didn't say anything. I took my slip, I turned, and I left. I was I didn't want to get into it. I was so pissed. I was so livid, man. I can't even begin to express how upset I was. I thought it would be there. I thought, like, okay, why would the truck come back at the end of the day to drop it off? It would have to be there. But you're telling me, like, what if this is an important package? What if this was like a need to have right away? And again, the fucking KitchenAid could be dropped off at my door. But God forbid an envelope, probably like the size of this London Drugs photo lab. There, this size right here. My God. So anyways, I'm guaranteed to get it tomorrow. I'm hoping. So it's been
there's no guarantees.
It's been a full solid 7-day waiting period. The game has been out, the hype is out. I've ignored everything that I can for the game because I don't want to be spoiled. I'm just super stoked to dive into it. So to answer your question, Clay, I am getting it, and I am absolutely ecstatic for it because I feel like it's what Aliens Colonial Marines should have been. That game went through some development hell. I think that this game is going to have such a great chance. It's gotten mixed reviews, but again, it's from the positives that I've seen, it's just that it hits home with being true to like the Alien franchise, the tier system, the upgrade system, the guns, customizations, just like, I don't want to say like Left 4 Dead, but Aliens version, but you're going in there with a squad. Like if you get it, and I think it has crossplay, I will play with you 110% because none of the geeks are getting it. I can tell you that much.
When it's Game Pass, I definitely will, but no, I just laughed so much when Clay sent that. I was like, oh man, he doesn't even know what he's stepping in right now.
I was so mad.
Why I can laugh is two things. One, because I've always told Taylor buy digital, he would have got the game a week home and fine. He needs his physical. That's fine. Two, why didn't you wait till the day of release and go just get it from one of the physical stores here in Kelowna?
Well, I was going to, but I don't know if stores take PayPal directly.
But no, I mean like when Walmart opens and you go, hey, can I get Alien Firesteam? They say, here you go, Taylor. They hand it to you and you just pay. Why didn't you do that?
And then return the mailing copy?
Yeah.
I thought about it, but I wasn't sure how.
But why did you even do a mailing? Why did you even do a mailing copy to begin with? You knew they were going to sell out. They weren't going to sell out.
Well, they did. They sold out online at GameStop. I haven't checked in-store amounts, but the Xbox One version, it actually says sold out.
There's part of me that wants to go phone me games, go buy this Xbox game and just show you, look, I have it before you, and put it right on my little man. Like, I just walked into a store and got it. That's what I should do right now.
Again, like I PayPal, most stores here in Canada, they don't accept PayPal in store. So again, when I went onto the website,
transfer yourself the money. You can get off PayPal.
I know, and in retrospect, I should have done that. I know, but I saw it paid directly with PayPal. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, man, let's just pay straight out of the PayPal account. No waiting periods. I don't have to transfer the funds. This is great. And it's supposed to arrive the next day, like after, or the day of like its release and everything. It's going to be awesome.
He even messaged us. He's like, man, you guys, I might get it the day before release. It's looking real good.
I was so optimistic. Oh my God.
Oh, well, we can't get any higher than that. That's going to go in the bloopers for this year. That was a good story. Well, Clay, thanks for bringing that up. Thank you to everybody that listened to this episode. If you have any thoughts on any of our topics, let us know. Hit us up on our Discord, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all that stuff. So thank you very much for tuning in. I promise when you hear from us next, it'll not be boring.
Bye-bye.